Harish Salve has now refused to defend Italy's decision on naval guards in Supreme Court. Senior advocate Harish Salve, who appeared for the Republican of Italy in the Supreme Court, has said that he will not defend the Italian government's decision not to return the two naval guards accused of killing the two fishermen. Salve, who had argued for allowing the naval guards 4 weeks' time to go to Italy and vote, said he first an officer of the court and the naval guards have to honor the apex court's orders. Salve hoped that better sense will prevail and the Italian government will honor its commitment to the Supreme Court. Alright, breaking this news at this point of time is my colleague Jugal Purohit. Jugal, have you spoken to Mr. Salve? Exactly what did he tell you?
Well, Preeti, Mr. Salve himself is not commenting on the issue because it does concern what is generally for most lawyers a very a pious relationship between a client and his advocate. But sources close to Mr. Salve are telling us that he has in fact intimated the Italian embassy and through the embassy the government that he will not be interested anymore in appearing for them. He is not assigned any reasons and he's neither required to do so as a lawyer. But what we are understanding is that this obviously stems from the major embarrassment that the Italian government has actually inflicted upon everybody concerning this case and everybody who was defending till now the conduct of the Italian government. And now clearly what has happened in this case with Mr. Salve deciding to stay away from the Italian case only goes to show for the Italian the acceptance of their conduct and behavior is just not coming from any quarters whatsoever, whether it's the Indian government or whether it's their own council. Remember, Mr. Salve was defending the Italian government ever since this incident took place on the 15th of February 2012. And now the Italian government will be hard-pressed to actually find a lawyer who can explain just why the Italian government reneged on an undertaking given to none less than the Supreme Court.
All right, Jugal, stay on with us. Of course, we do remember speaking to the senior advocate Harish Salve earlier, who had appeared for the Republic of Italy in the Supreme Court. They're asking that the two Marines be sent to Italy to vote. Of course, today, Mr. Salve is also citing massive breach of trust by the Italian government. Let's cut across at this point of time. Strategic Affairs Editor Gaurav Sawant is in the studio with us. He's helped breaking it down for us on this massive breach of faith from Italy where India is concerned. Gaurav, we were speaking to former ambassador to the US, Mr. Sen, a short while back, and the first thing he said was there is no standard operating procedure. Something like this has never happened. How could India anticipate it?
Well, India has been let down, but the bigger point now is what's the way forward? It cannot be business as usual with Italy. What is it that India will do? This is extremely embarrassing for the Supreme Court of India. This is extremely embarrassing for government of India. India had faith in a letter written by the ambassador to Italy and Italy's ambassador to India. India also had faith in what the foreign ministry of Italy was saying, and both have gone back on their commitment, their words. Right. So what does India do at this stage? And perhaps that's the bigger issue that the Ministry of External Affairs needs to be concerned about. It cannot be business as usual with Italy. Right. Will India continue to take it on the chin, or will India perhaps send back an ambassador who tells a lie or goes back on his commitment? Can contempt of court proceedings be initiated against him as a diplomat? He enjoys diplomatic immunity from prosecution, but he can easily be declared persona non grata and he can be sent back to Italy. More displeasure can be expressed. You have a lot of ties with Italy which need to be perhaps reviewed at a certain stage, because this is where Italy has embarrassed the Republic of India, its Supreme Court and its government.
Gaurav, at this point of time, India's hands might be tried to take action against the envoy, considering he enjoys diplomatic immunity. But with what you were saying, there is strong action that India can take right now, which, Gaurav, if we look back, how India had handled the case right from the very beginning, they had been soft where Italy is concerned and maybe now paying the price of it.
Oh, indeed. Right from day one, India was more than soft with two Marines who were accused of murder. They were accused of killing Indian fishermen. They were kept in an officer's mess. Why were two Italian Marines kept in an officer's mess? They should have been kept in jail. That was where India was soft. Then the case was transferred from Kerala and brought to Delhi. which was again a court decision where
Right.
the court said that that let it be tried here in Delhi. They were allowed to live in the Italian embassy. Why were they not living? Why were they not as under trials in jail? Remains the big question. Why
Exactly.
were they allowed to go home for Christmas? Which other under trial for murder in this country is allowed to go home for Diwali or Holi or Eid or any other festival? Why special laws? In India, you don't have two separate laws for Indian under trials and foreign under trials. But the government bent over backwards from day one, and Italians, as government sources, are now saying,
Right.
deceived India. This is deceit. They first sent them
Right.
back for Christmas. They returned when they were sent back to vote. Again, Rajiv Dogra, former diplomat, Rajiv Dogra is saying they did not have to go back to Italy to vote. Under Italian laws, they could have voted in the embassy of Italy in Delhi, and they could have still pursued the case. But this was
Right.
deliberately misleading the Supreme Court, and these are questions that India needs to strongly take up with
You're right
Italy.
there. Many questions being put forth where the Ministry of External Affairs is concerned. There are no greenhorns. They're well entrenched in the art of diplomacy, yet once again failing to pass muster.